this tutorial, I will show you everything you need to know to save a CSV file with PySpark. Start by creating a new Jupyter notebook. I will rename this to CSV lesson. As usual, import Spark session and types. Because I will use NumPy, not a number constant, I will import NumPy as well. Same thing for datetime. Create the Spark session. Spark session. .builder. .app name. Add whatever name you like. .get or create. I forgot a slash. Let's define the table structure. df types equals t.struct type. Now let's define the columns. t.struct field. Column name. The type is string. I will duplicate this several times to speed up the process. I will rename these new columns to age, current_sold, bank name, Boolean value, ingest date, some timestamp. Next, adjust the types. Integer type, double type, Boolean type, date type, timestamp type. Allow nulls on these columns. Now create the data frame. I will copy-paste the data frame with the one I created to speed up the things. Pass the df_types as an argument to create data frame. As you can see, all the columns respect the types we defined. I have added a NumPy, not a number, because in the next video I will use the same data frame. Feel free to add whatever you want. Display the data frame. So to save a CSV file to disk, you can use the CSV method. df.writes.csv. You can specify a path to disk or an S3 bucket. As you can see, you specify the folder name, not the file name. In this folder, all the files will be generated. So after you run this, you will see in the CSV lots of files. The number of files will depend on the size of the file and the number of threads your computer has. Jupyter Lab will show just the CSV files, so let's check this out: the files from Windows Explorer. We can use the master function to specify how many threads PySpark should use. In this case, the numbers of files will be limited. You can use the star to use all available threads. Looks like I forgot a slash. This error shows up because I wanted to overwrite the previous file generated. We can overwrite the CSV file by adding the mode argument. The overwrite mode will delete everything. then the files will be generated. So you can remove the success files by adding this configuration. Map reduce.fileOutput committer. Mark successful jobs to false. Change the number of threads. Restart everything, but if you need to use more than one thread, then you can use the coalesce method. Pass 1 as the parameter. As you can see, coalesce is merging partitions to the number you specify as the parameter. Coalesce uses existing partitions to minimize the amount of data that is shuffled. You can use repartition as well. Repartition creates new partitions and does a full shuffle, so because of this it has some disadvantages. I will not go into details about how these two are working, but just keep in mind that coalesce is faster when you create fewer partitions. More about partitions and coalesce in future lessons. You can save the data grouped by something with the help of partition by. You can pass as a parameter the name of the column you want to use for grouping. Partition by accepts a list as well. The ignore mode silently ignores this operation if data already exists. The compression argument allows you to set the compression codec to use when saving to file. This can be one of the known case-insensitive shorten names: none, bzip2, gzip, lz4, snappy, and deflate. This argument allows you to set a separator for each field and value. Encoding. Set what encoding you need. Quote. Specify what character to quote. If it finds this character, it will escape it. I will add a single quote. As you can see, the text that contains a single quote will be wrapped with the character I defined, and the quote inside is escaped. Quote all. This argument quotes everything. The escape argument allows you to define what character to use for escaping. You can add just a single character. Escape quotes is indicating whether values containing quotes should always be enclosed in quotes. Default is to escape all values containing a quote character. Header includes or excludes CSV the columns name as headers. Let's add some spaces to see how we can control this from code. Ignore leading white space. Is indicates whether or not leading white spaces from values being written should be skipped. The default value is true. Ignore trailing white space. If is set to true, it will remove the trailing white spaces. Null value. Replace all none values with what string you put here. It does not affect numpy, not a number. Date format. You can define the global date format for all the columns that have the type date type. It does not affect timestamp columns. Timestamp format. You can define the global timestamp format for all the columns that have the type timestamp type. It does not affect data types. Empty value. Defines what value to use for an empty value. This includes null values and empty string values without numpy, not a number constant. As you can see, if you define the string for null values, this parameter won't override nulls. Line separator. The line separator defines what character to use for the end of the line. Keep in mind that you cannot use more than a single character. As you can see, each line ends with %. So if I change this to the new line character, the end will end with a new line, as it is happen by default.